Welcome back to Coach's Corner. We've got Coach Allen in, as always, to talk Ponca City Wildcat football as the Wildcats return home this week to play Muskogee Friday night at 7 o'clock at Sullen Stadium. And Coach, it's homecoming week. That's a great week for our school.
Hey, it's going to be fun for these guys and for the community. Excited about homecoming week. I'm excited about having a home game. So, but yeah, that's homecoming, and it's, I hope the school, they have dress up days, and it's homecoming, and I just hope everybody has fun.
The month of October rolls around at a good time for your team. 4 games in, you've played 2 number 1 teams and a team that probably should be number 1, and then an Enid team which is spanking everybody they're playing right now. You've got to feel like, and I know it's not easy, but the first 4 games were really, really difficult games.
Yes, we knew that on our schedule that the month of September would be tough. But we're a no excuse bunch. Recapping, we should have won that first game. That could have been one. And then Guthrie, we were just a few plays away. And Shawnee, we had a big win there. And then Booker T was better than us overall, but we still did a lot of good things in that game. And if we had to play them in a second round or something like that, it's we're not that far off.
Friday night, Ponca lost to Booker T 26-0, ball game that your kids really played well. We had some turnovers, and I thought that was a big difference, Coach.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, probably so far the most demoralizing, probably one play of the year in a game was the drive that we took all the way to the 9-yard line, and we threw an INT in the end zone. I mean, that took some wind out. That did. It took a little while to recover, and I don't know if we fully recovered in some areas, mentally from that. And then the punt return. No, the punt return we ended up surviving. It didn't. I don't think it ended up costing us. But still, that punt return was costly, and then we threw another INT right before half. We've been decent at protecting the ball this year throughout the season mostly, but that one on that drive, that 9-yard fade that we took a shot at was that hurt a little bit.
After the game, we were talking with a lot of Washington people that were up there with us, and the only thing they could talk about was how much better our defense was. And,
sure.
And I thought for the most part, given the quality opponent and some of the situations our defense was put in, you can't be disappointed totally at their effort.
No. Honestly, they threw the ball. Golly, was it? I can't remember. They hit the 40 attempt mark. They were
just short of it.
Yeah. They were that. So our DBs were I thought did an excellent job. I was proud of our defensive secondary. The plays that they did make in the end zone, again, similar to that Guthrie, were just great athletic plays on the offensive end. Our guys were in position and were there. And I thought Corey Trotter broke up a lot of balls. Him and Keller Elwood broke up a lot of footballs all night long. I thought, Adam Nicholas had an interception, almost had another one that bounced into the guy's hands for a score. So, I mean, we did good. Now that being said, we did have some areas on defense that need to be fixed if we ever do play a Booker T again or a type of Booker T team again. Our containment, we had issues with containment. When you blitz, we were a little out of control at times, and the guy just made a sharp move and got out. We got to move. We got to do a better job of when we blitz, how to be a little more under control and proper angle and thing like that to still not let a guy that's that athletic get out of there so easily. So we had some containment issues on that part. I thought again for the most part we stopped an off tackle game throughout the game pretty well. But there's times they did get on the edge too on a play that we normally stop. But the containment of the quarterback, I think, was the key, both when he ran it and when he threw it out of the pocket. So that was probably the number one defensive key that I wish we would have done better in. But overall defense held Booker T to 26 points, just six in the second half. So I mean, they did a good job.
Absolutely, and again. Quality of opponent, Grundy, probably one of the best quarterbacks in the state, and I thought the best group of wide receivers I've seen this year. I thought it was interesting because they made some catches, Coach, that you see on Sunday, not Saturday or Friday nights, but they made some plays, and sometimes you tip your hat and say that was a great play, because I thought for the most part, especially on 2 of their pass touchdowns, that our defensive backs were right there in perfect position, and they just had to make a play.
Yes, they're athletic and they're talented, and that's about what you're right. About two of those plays came down to just them being gifted and talented. Our guys, our defensive defenders were right there and made a lot of plays. I mean, our secondary made a lot of plays throughout the game. But yes, there was a couple times that they made big time catches in there. And when our open field tackling has been pretty good. That one swing pass, we missed tackles, on that deal, and that happened. But again, when you're playing a team like that, you got to make the most of every opportunity. You got to bring your A game, and we offensively, we ran the ball again for I think again 150 yards, but still just couldn't pass it, and so that's been our Achilles heel, and we got to look at fixing that.
Coach, tell me about the Muskogee Roughers, your homecoming opponent Friday night.
Good. They're talented. I know Coach Saru. He's they got their quarterback similar to Grundy, meaning he is an athletic type that can leave the pocket and be scary both running and passing. Coach Saru and the defensive staff also feels the receivers and the way they run their routes are very clean, very organized. Maybe even a little better than Booker T in some as far as some of how they run the routes, not necessarily the receivers, but how they run the routes and such. So there's a lot of scary things there. They also have Rafe Watkins, their head coach, who is trying to build a physical offensive line and a physical run game, similar to they did at Guthrie. So they're in the process of that, and so they are doing things right up front and run the ball. So they're pretty scary offensively. Still, and then on the defensive side, I think offense needs to have we need to do our part, because I think we can this week. We've seen some pretty good fronts with Guthrie and Booker T's, and even Shawnee's front, and we've done well against it. So looking at Muskogee, there's no reason why we shouldn't do it again this week. Thing we just want to improve again is just to keep working on that passing element. Try to add that. That's going to help push us over the top, I think, when we get that going. And so we can have a good night there. But overall, Muskogee's a team that's they're rebuilding, and what's scary. It's hard to judge because Muskogee's played. They've played a tough non-district. Owasso and McAllister and Fayetteville, who's ranked very high in 7A in Arkansas. So it's hard to get a reading. Muskogee. So because they've played some tough folks, but I feel this is a crucial big week for us. I don't want to pressure our guys or anything like that, but I feel this game is a big one, and so we're approaching it that way.
Well, Muskogee won their first game of the season in their district opener. They played Sapulpa, who has struggled this season.
Absolutely.
But Ponca and Muskogee kind of on the same track because they're both 1-3, but both have played really good opponents so far. So now I think for the next 5 games, 6 games, we're going to be more on par with teams that we probably have a talent level against. And now it's going to come down to all those intangibles that you always talk about.
Yes, absolutely, Phil. You're correct analysis. We just the back half of the season is going to be more like that. And that being said, we got to bring our A game every week, and we know that. But you're right that as far as the talent level, we're going to be more. It's going to be more equal. Muskogee's they're a little bit of a mystery because of the way who they've played, and but we feel good. We've seen the tape. We feel good about ourselves, and I think this could be a good spark win, and getting us ready for the backstretch.
Wildcats and Muskogee Friday night at 7 o'clock at Sullen Stadium. We hope you'll get out and support the Wildcats and root them on to their second victory of the season. For Coach Allen, Phil Turney on this week's Coach's Corner.